I might have, you never know. Being so insistent, they obviously killed her. Very impressive. So, the school basement has become the darkened stage. We're all here to bear witness to Mr. Naigi's final curtain call.
You know what I mean.
Well, I did my job. I'm cutting on the rest of you from here on out. I changed the voice midway. So back to normal, actually. Well then, the time has finally come. Are you ready? Not before I check this two items here. So we can just diamond this right now. But money coins! Money coins! I want them! I can't think about the monitor right now. I need to concentrate on what's about to happen. It's true. I guess I have no choice but to get on this elevator.
Well then.
Let us begin.
Yes, indeed.
Good idea.
Hey,
Are you scared? No, square isn't quite right.
Makoto.
He said it before, but it's up to you to uncover the mystery surrounding this case yourself. You'll never come to the grips with the truth. You need to uncover the truth of Sayaka's death. I didn't need someone else to tell me to do that. In Sayaka's honor, I swear I'll find out who the real killer is. As I raised my voice to try and give myself courage, I turned sharply with anticipation toward the elevator. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. Everyone else was already in the elevator. When I finally stepped on, the doors closed and the elevator started to move. The steel box descended with heavy clunking sounds towards the school's basement. I wonder if this is how a death row inmate feels when his time finally comes.
Oh!
Rather than that, is it not more like a defendant waiting to receive his judgment? Oblivious to our shared anxiety, the elevator lowered us further and further into the bowels of the school. There it is. You finally arrived! The one and only class trial courtroom, where our fates get decided. What do you think? Does it feel just like a real courtroom? It's like a Hollywood movie set, right?
Shit.
Not even close, it's total shit.
Well now.
Okay. Everyone find your assigned seats and sit down.
Yahoo!
Hurry up now, hurry up! Did what he said and found our seats. Oh, sorry, my mouse was in the way. Hope you didn't see that. Seats were arranged in a giant circle. That's a cool fucking shot. Look at that. Appreciate it. It was set up so that everyone could see everyone else. Which also meant it'd be easy for anyone to transfer their attention and unease onto anyone else. The air seemed to grow heavy as we sat there. And so, the curtain on our first case opened. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Oh my god, time to save. Well, we're gonna take a quick little break. I won't stop the stream. I'll be right back in about a minute or two. Don't go anywhere. The class trial will soon begin, I promise. Alright everyone, I'm back. Let's get this set our skills. Cool and composed, steadies your aim a little. Effective during the non-stop debate and the hangman's gambit. Costs 2 skill points. Cool. Melodious voice increases damage to the opponent when a statement is destroyed. Effective during the bullet time battle. Costs 3 skill points. Well, we have the space, so we're gonna equip it. And before we begin the trial, let's look over all of the evidence, so that we'll kind of know what we're doing. Alright, the Monochroma file. The victim was Sayaka Maizono. The time of death is estimated to be around 1:30 AM. The body was discovered in Makoto's room in the dormitory. The death took place in the bathroom. The cause of death was a stab wound to the abdomen, and her right wrist appears to have been fractured. Evidence of a struggle. There are a number of scratches and gouges on the bed and walls in Makoto's room. Replica sword. Makoto took this from the gym entryway and put it in his room. The sword was found out of its sheath on the floor in the middle of the room. The sword handle was missing, some of the gold coating as was part of the blade. A bit butchered that sentence, but it's okay. Replica sword sheath. Makoto took this from the gym entryway and put it in his room. The sheath was found some distance from the sword itself, and it shows evidence of being scratched with a sharp object. Switching rooms. On the night of the murder, Makoto and Sayaka traded rooms and room keys. When the victim was discovered, Makoto's room key was also found in Makoto's room. Sayaka had originally asked Makoto to switch with her when someone attempted to force their way into the room, and she became frightened. Toolkit. This had been placed in Makoto's room before he arrived. It remains unopened, and there is no evidence of it having ever been used. All the other male students claim that they haven't used theirs either. But still, someone could have used it and just lied that they didn't use it. Makoto's room's cleanliness. Not a single hair was found on the floor at the scene of the crime. In addition, the lint roller shows evidence of being used. Sayaka's right wrist had been fractured and her wrist was glittery at the injury's location. In addition, her hands appeared to be completely clean except for the index finger of her left hand, which had some blood on it. She must have been struck with the replica sword. Dying message. A series of numbers had been written in blood on Makoto's bathroom wall. 11037. It is assumed that Sayaka wrote these numbers while leaned up against the wall as she lay dying. Bathroom door frame. Makoto's bathroom door was difficult to open due to it not quite fitting in the door frame properly. There were two people who knew the trick to opening it were Makoto, the room's owner, and Sayaka, the victim. Makoto's bathroom doorknob had been broken. The screws holding it in place had all been partially or completely removed. It's almost like the person who broke it thought it was locked, but they just didn't know that it was just stuck. So they broke it for no reason. Okay, Enclorer. Door nameplates. The nameplates on the doors to Sayaka and Makoto's rooms were apparently switched at some point. Kitchen knife set. The kitchen in the dining hall has a set of kitchen knives. Apparently one of the knives had gone missing, which you found in Sayaka's abdomen. The knife from the kitchen went missing while Aoi was in the dining hall. Aoi swears that Makoto did not come to the dining hall at any point while she was there. Treasury. There's apparently a trash room within the school. It's blocked up by a study gate that can only be opened with the trash room key. Incinerator. The incinerator can be activated via a switch on the machine. Ifumi was on clean duty, and he claims that the last time he saw the incinerator, it was off. Or when Makoto checked it after the incinerator was in fact on. The distance from the gate to the incinerator is roughly 30 feet. That's really far. The piece of burned clothing was found next to the incinerator in the trash room. It is apparently part of a shirt cuff, and it has a noticeable bloodstain on it. Shards of glass were found next to the incinerator in the trash room. As it turns out, the glass bowl would have fit comfortably in the palm of a person's hand. Apparently, Yasuhiro left the bowl in the laundry room on accident, so anyone could have come along and taken it. And that's all the evidence. And we did save, so we should be okay. And last thing before we begin, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me if even just one person gets entertainment out of watching my streams. So thank you. Anyway, let's begin the trial. Also, it's fully voice acted. Again.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Of course!
Okay then. Everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Oh, that's not exactly a good idea.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
That's the other thing.
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick?
Ooh, what is it? Oh. Oh.
What's going on with those pictures?
Rip.
I'd feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier.
Lovely. I think you just want to mess with us.
Friendship penetrates?
Why did you have to do that? Come on, man.
Okay, but what about that other empty seat? There were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Suspicious.
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people. Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started. First up is the case summary. Now, let the class trial begin.
Yay! Finally. It's about to begin. The debate to decide who we think the killer is. Anything I found, anything I noticed, I have to be ready to speak up about everything. Because this isn't just about me. Everyone's lives are on the line. The first non-stop debate is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Yes. As things progress during each class trial, you will engage in a number of non-stop debates. During these discussions, characters will speak one after another, without pause. It's up to you to unearth any lies or contradictions buried within their statements. What this means is that you'll have to use your truth bullets to refute what they say. Any relevant truth bullets you find during your investigation will be loaded into the truth cylinder. Use the left stick to aim, then fire with the Y button. Pay close attention to each character's statements, and use your truth bullets to blast the right ones. Note that if you run out of time, you will automatically fail, so please be careful. Thanks, Donator. Didn't know you cared for me. If you press the start button during these arguments, you can review the controls. Then again, if I died, then you'd have no more job as a narrator. Well then, good luck and have fun. I don't know, I want to get at least one good look around the trial ground before I let the debate begin. That about does it, doesn't it? Yeah, that's everyone. Let's begin. Evidence of a struggle. Oh boy.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka Maizono!
Yeah, we know that part already.
Yeah.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
Nope. Nope, that's wrong.
No, that's wrong!
See? Makoto knows it too.
Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked. With the way things had been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was a struggle.
A struggle? Between who and who?
The culprit and the victim, obviously.
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom?
No, you just kind of have to look at the crime scene and you notice that.
She must have been attacked in the main room first. Then, she ran to the bathroom to try and hide. The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
Scary.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Yeah, Blacker is right.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a real trial.
No, it wasn't necessary, but you're right. We need to determine what was used to kill Sayaka. Kitchen knives.
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object thrust into her stomach. Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon!
So the killer used some random knife they had on him.
It wasn't any random knife.
No, that's wrong!
It was a goddamn kitchen
No.
knife.
I do think it was a knife, but not just any knife. I'm almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
See?
Huh? A kitchen knife?
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives from the kitchen was missing.
Which means that knife must be the murder weapon.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. You could sort of see the weapon sticking out of her stomach.
Does it mean you didn't get a very good look at
And
it?
if you look real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
And you only notice that now?
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us? I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
But do I need to schmeck you, boy?
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the crime. What more proof do you need?
Do I need to go on a schmecking spree?
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we've presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
Not with that thinking.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
Clever girl.
You really believe that?
Come on, Weidman. She's right. There's gotta be a breakthrough somewhere, just waiting for us to find it. Because I know damn well I'm not the killer. There's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Would you like to hear more? Absolutely. You can concentrate by holding down the RB button. While you're concentrating, time will slow down, so you can pay closer attention to what everyone's saying. On top of that, it'll study your aim, making it easier to target potential weak spots. Concentrating like this consumes the focus gauge. And if this gauge empties, you can't concentrate, but the focus gauge will recover over time. Still know how to pronounce the word. So let your brain take a rest. No need to rush. Well then, good luck and have fun. Let's try to get through this trial without concentrating. Sound good? Okay. Oh, the music kicked up. Oh, it's a count, huh?
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was the murder weapon.
Yes.
But where does that get us?
Makoto must have taken it from the kitchen, right?
Nope.
He did it in secret when nobody was in the...
No, that's wrong.
I couldn't have done it. I was in the kitchen when the knife was
Okay,
took.
wait. Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Makoto couldn't have taken it.
Next, you're gonna say you're not the killer, right? Go ahead and say it all you want.
I will do, thanks, love.
Well, what if I have a witness? What do you think, Hina?
Huh?
Come on.
Remember what you were telling me earlier?
Don't just harm me. Sorry, I'm not repeating those.
Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Hey.
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall, but I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this?
What?
What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together, and lying to protect each other?
Why would we do that?
Idiot swimmer girl! Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
That's a really good question.
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So, in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
Yeah.
But what if they did work together, and they just didn't know about the rule?
Good grief! Enough already! No, okay? There are no accomplices in this case! Oops! Did I say that out loud?
Yes, you did.
Anyway, I didn't go to the dining hall, and I didn't take the knife. So I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife? Hina seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall.
God damn it.
No way! I swear it wasn't me!
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that? I can.
Ooh.
That's right! Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
Okay.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right.
But then, couldn't either one of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no. Because, well...
Just spit it out already.
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
What?
I got so scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over.
Huh.
Which means we have airtight alibis.
Cool.
You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
No, because the rule regulations only say that you have to be in the dorm rooms. It doesn't specify that you have to be in your dorm
We're not
room.
allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms, but it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room.
There you go, Chihiro.
So, I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem! A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome!
Oh god, you're so dead. Oh no.
But I'm a girl.
Oh no. You're so dead.
You are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
Oh, do I need to prepare for your... Oh god.
But if it wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
Actually, there is one other possibility. Right, Hina?
May we hear your testimony then?
Oh, yeah, that's true. One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Who was it?
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Okay.
Well,
Good
because
question.
they're not here anymore.
What? Someone who's not here? What are you talking about?
Sayaka. She's the one who came to the dining hall. And then later, she wound up dead.
Rip. Burger. Sayaka? Okay, so the person who took the knife from the kitchen was... Sayaka.
I got it! Then, Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
Wow.
That's the only possibility. And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual.
What do you mean unusual?
When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
And the person who took the knife was the victim herself.
Yeah.
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
So you're saying the knife she took was then taken from her, and she was killed with it?
Oh no, that
In that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
Damn it.
What?
You're onto my case, Byakuya.
See? He did do it after all.
That means nothing
No,
yet.
you're wrong.
So, that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction? You possess a most terrifying talent.
God damn you. Damn. If I don't do something, they're gonna blame me for the murder. Don't they understand? They convict me, everyone's gonna die.
Hold on. It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say?
Oh, thank God you're here, Kyoko.
Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering. And until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
You are my savior.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh God. The first Hangman's Gambit is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Yeah, sure, why not? As things advance further in the class show, the Hangman's Gambit will eventually take place. The point of this is to reveal an important phrase related to the incident in question. You'll have to deduce the phrase from the letters flying around, and the letters already known. Complete the phrase by shooting down the flying letters in the right order. Use the rest stick to aim, and press the Y button to shoot the desired letters. If you shoot down the wrong letters, you'll suffer damage to your prize gauge. If this gauge reaches 0, or if you run out of time, you fail. Well then, good luck and have fun. Something that should have been at the scene, but wasn't. That must be the crucial point. If you can just figure out what that something is. Hangman's Gambit. Here we go. Give us some hair, right? Kyoko didn't find any hair on the ground. And she looked around vigorously for it.
Now I understand!
Complete. Nailed it.
That's
Mic drop.
right! There wasn't a single hair on the floor!
Yeah. I remembered. Because it literally was an hour ago.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there.
No, because you would have to remove the body itself.
That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Ha ha ha! Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then Makoto isn't the culprit?
Oh yeah, I'm not.
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
God fucking damn it.
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
Oh hell yeah, I do. The killer struggled getting into the bathroom, and the evidence that proves that is... where is it? The doorknob.
I got it!
It was broken.
Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay then.
She sounds so smug.
Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
A bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Let's hear about it, shall we? From here on out, the number of weak spots will start going up. Oh god. But no matter how many weak spots, there's essentially only one lie or contradiction in that debate. What I'm trying to say is, not all weak spots you see are necessarily false. Use a true bullet on the wrong one, and not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you'll also lower your trust with everyone, and the influence gauge will take damage. Now, this is important because if your influence gauge reaches 0, you'll fail. You'll have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actually lies or contradictions. Well then, good luck and have fun. Bathroom door frame. Okay.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room.
Yeah, that's correct.
She then fled into the bathroom.
That's true.
Then the killer ran after her,
Yes.
and they got into the bathroom.
Yes.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door.
Yes.
Because Sayaka had locked it.
It was unlocked.
No, that's wrong.
It was unlocked. It was just stuck.
The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms are the only ones with locking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
There you go.
Huh? What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Please do.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door. That's not lucky at all.
Thanks, Monokuma.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place? Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
One important detail? Something the killer didn't know. For some reason they were convinced the door was locked. Which means the important detail the killer didn't know was the crime took place in my room.
I got it! The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable!
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms. Which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room, then
there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through!
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
Sounds so disappointed.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
There you fucking go, now you see. There you go, there you're dead learning. Just like I'm still learning English. No, I'm not. I passed an international exam. Never mind, mate. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Okay, then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
Don't do that, you lose all your progress.
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority rules!
Don't.
Majority rules? You really think that's a good idea?
It's an unbelievably stupid idea is what it is.
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Go ahead, girl.
Oh, you...
Why, you...
You don't gotta sound so disappointed.
That's true.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
There we go, now we're getting serious.
Yes. How did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
That's suspicious. This is the same thing Makoto did. Are you Makoto? I'm on to you.
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
I'm sorry. I like being stupid.
Then maybe someone picked the lock?
No, they're unpickable. Monokuma made sure to mention it.
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
See?
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
It's a possibility.
No, that can't be it either.
I mean...
Oh! Trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place. Hello? Why exactly can't that be it?
I think Makoto was trying to make the point that she was too scared to let anyone in. And that's why she would never open the door, so I'm just gonna think this was the one containing that piece of information. And she became frightened.
I got it!
But I don't think that's the
Because
case.
Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms in the first place.
But then there would have been no other way for the killer to get in, so that's not a possibility.
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
And yet she still
What
did.
if her being scared was a lie?
Oh, Kyoko and me are on the same page. At the shipping begin.
Huh? Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
My god, Makoto's getting riled up, ladies and gentlemen.
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
Oh, there's something I want to talk to you about, just us two. In 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil. Ooh. And these are the words that appeared.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows.
Yeah!
When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words.
Awesome!
When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes.
Thank God.
Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Oh, Makoto, my boy, I'm sorry, but it appears that you have been played.
Which means only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
There's only one person who could have
Then
done it.
either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
I didn't do it, so...
So, Makoto, did you write this?
No, I didn't.
It was a friendly neighborhood
Of course
girl.
you didn't, because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
Doesn't look very beautiful. I mean, what do I know? It's not ugly, that note. Sayaka wrote it?
But why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
Of course.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Why?
Huh? What makes you say that? Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Pay attention.
Go ahead. I'll probably prove you wrong, most likely. Maybe not. We'll see. Door nameplates. Let's go ahead and do this.
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Definitely.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
How dare you put that in quotation
I
marks?
see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Yeah.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
Wouldn't have happened.
No, that's wrong. The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
You haven't noticed?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Genius.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other, so switching the nameplates would be no problem.
What a deviously clever girl.
And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Right?
Okay, then who did it?
There's only one person who could have switched nameplates. Son of a bitch.
I got it! Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
Doesn't make me happy.
You can also infer as much from her note.
That's something I want to talk to you about. Just us two. 5 minutes, come see me in my room. Check the place to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
She specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms. Why would anyone do that?
To understand that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into the room. That's where the answer lies.
What happened then was probably whoever she invited over came in and attacked her.
Is that true though?
We figured it out! We know who did it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
We still don't know who that is.
But we still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot!
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes?
Yeah.
Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Yes, it was.
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself.
Because if it was off at its display, the blade was off of its sheath, and also there was some glitter on Sayaka's wrist, so...
It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
That's right.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
I just mentioned it. The glitter. Where is it?
I got it! All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
Goddamn right it is.
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword! Right there on her wrist!
You don't need to cut into my words, you know.
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
All right, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
Ah, I finally said something smart. Would you look at that? Captain Obvious. What happened in my room? What led to Sayaka's death? That's what we need to make clear. Oh, more to learn. Yes, absolutely. Are you getting used to these non-stop debates? Yeah, kind of. Starting with the next debate, I'll start loading multiple truth bullets into your truth cylinder. But just like with the weak spots, only one of those bullets can actually refute the proper statement. In other words, from here on out, you'll have to combine the right truth bullets with the right weak spots to refute each statement. If you come up with the wrong combination, you'll take damage to infinite gauge. You can press the LB button to rotate the cylinder and choose which bullet to fire. Press and release the LB button to cycle through each bullet. Or you can hold down the LB bullet and then use the left stick to select a specific bullet. By the way, if the logic difficulty is set to kind, fewer bullets will be loaded into the cylinder. For the purposes this time, the logic difficulty will be set to mean. Oh, then good luck and have fun. Well, it won't really matter because I set every single difficulty in the game to the hardest to mean, so... Heat up! Replica sword shift, kitchen knife set, replica sword.
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword, and that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack!
Oops, I pushed the...
No, that's wrong!
Oh well. I pushed the concentration.
Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
I just wanted to get it as quickly as possible.
Huh? Why not?
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Yeah, thanks for explaining, Makoto. I knew I could trust you.
Something sharp.
Doing my work.
You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead! Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
Okay.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the sword, you'd take it out of the sheath first, right?
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
Good point.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Apparently.
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
And Sayaka was the one who grabbed it from the kitchen, so...
I think I get it! So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere. Then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening.
No, because then how would the sheet get
So
damaged?
she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her too.
Okay then.
Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they took the knife and finished it.
They could have done it with the sword.
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
Ah, yes, the palm of her hand.
I got it!
That would have been
You're
gold-
talking about her
gold on
palms, right?
That would have been gold on her palms if she ever held the sword. And that's evidenced by Makoto grabbing the handle before they put it in Makoto's room.
The palms of her hands were perfectly clean, so I don't think she ever picked up the sword.
How can you know that just by looking at her palms?
Like I said before, the gold coating on that sword comes right off. All you have to do is touch it. In fact, if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword got some of it on their hands. There's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
No, because the water was shut down after nighttime.
Sorry, but I don't think so.
Why do you say that? Is it because you think I'm ugly?
I'd say you're below average.
No, that's not it at all.
The water was off.
I got it! According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m.
And the water shuts off at 10 p.m.
In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
See?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
You stinky bitch! What the hell? That's disgusting.
Oh my.
You're no different. You smell like a big fat ugly donkey.
Well, what can you do? He has 155 kilograms on him.
I'm not sure whether to take that as an insult or a compliment.
An insult, obviously.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means
Plus he's a freaking otaku.
the killer is the only one who used the sword.
No offense.
But hold on.
A fan.
If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheath with the kitchen knife was...
Only damage the chief would have had to have been the one without the sword, which is
I
Sayaka.
got it!
Hey, I got 666.
Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka?
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own.
What?
She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in.
Wow.
And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Plus she would have killed the attacker in Makoto's room, in my room, so they would suspect me.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms, correct?
She wanted to pin the murder on me. What a fucking bitch.
Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is a possibility, is it not?
That's so clever, but also fuck you.
Sayaka wanted to... on me?
God damn it.
That would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to Makoto's room where she was staying. And by committing the murder there, instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto.
Makoto.
But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior.
Wait a minute. If she succeeded, does that mean that she would have been sleeping right next to a rotting corpse, which was in the next door bathroom? What? Well, not rotting, but you know what I mean.